Everybody, this is Rydo, and we're back to another recording of Hearthstone. Today is Friday, October 25th. We are in the middle of this Brawl launch event, and it's not really helping us play green or red spells, or let's see, what does that say? 30 blue or red spells. So, but we're trying out this Brawl. Not doing great. As best as I can understand, brawls are kind of a weekly thing that you can just keep on playing. The thing I'd like to change here is the commander. So, commanders, when I click here, we need something cheap that is all white cards. Yeah, that's not a bad one. Whenever any legendary apparently can be a commander on top of a planeswalker being a commander. First strike. See, I really just clicked on that one at random. Let's see, do I have anything that would make sense otherwise? Create food, consume food. This one might be the smarter move, but I couldn't play it, I don't think. So we gotta be realistic. It's gotta be a white one. So it's gotta either really be this or this one colorless one. These other ones won't work. So I'm just gonna take that. Come on. Alright, so what I need to do is take Linden, which is down here, I think, and drag it up here. Here we go. Drag it up to that position. And then that lets me get one more creature in the field if I wanted it, but you know, it'd probably be better just to put one more plains on the field. Just 21 of the same plains cards. Honestly, Magic Arena probably should boil down the plains cards to one card and then just randomly have the art change. Like, there's really no reason that I would understand or know of that you need all 5 of the different types of lands that they've animated. It really could just also be a card skin instead of having 5 different things. For the basic lands, at least. Yeah, and that would save space. And that's the number one thing they need to do, is they need to save space, because whether they want to or not, and from what I understand, they don't want to, or they haven't thought it all the way through. They don't want to bring Magic Arena to mobile phones because the interface is just not designed. There's just way too much stuff going on. There's ways to fix that, and they're just going to have to embrace and use those ways. Because at the very least, there needs to be a tablet support. Like iPad, Android tablet. If you tell me that some smartphone screens are not good enough, I'll suspect that's not true, but I'll kind of believe you. Also, let's see. So yeah, They've got to fix this interface stuff. There's ways you can do that, certainly. Just you reduce land down to just a symbol on the side and slide it into some kind of side drawer, and then you save a bunch of space that way. They're already trying to save space with all the tapping and such. You hide the decks and the graveyards in a secondary sidebar, so if there's just a small little button here that was decks and graveyard and exile, and then a small button here that was the land, and same is true for the other player, that would be fine. Oh darn it. Can I do anything? No. You could probably get rid of the backgrounds alternating as much as they do. So now we have a 3/3 with vigilance. We always will have a 3/3 with vigilance. We're good. Let's see. Now we have extra life. And we can put that on the field too. What is this? Whenever a white creature you control attacks, gain 1 life. Okay, that's one. So, and that gives us an extra life here. Yeah, get rid of the pets. I still wish this game had a card history somewhere. Some kind of log or something.
Too bad.
Hmm.
Oh, they're so cute.
Hmm. Okay. Defend against that, defend against that. These don't have death touch, so. This is playing better. Next, all attacks. There you go. 4. There. 3. Come on, work. Pass.
I'm burnt out.
So yeah, in like 4 or 5 moves, we've got 18 to 33. Choose 2 target permanent cards that were put in there this turn. Guess I can't do that, so we'll just do this instead. You don't really need this card, but I'm not sure that I need to swap out the cards either. I think we've got a strategy here. Target tapped creature. I can't cast a spell. Damage to target attacking or blocking creature each of the number of creatures you own. Okay, so next, all attack. That way. Next, if this one decides to block, we'll cast this spell. And then let's play this and see. 2 permanent cards in your graveyard that were put there from the battle this turn. Yeah, can't do that. Neither one of those. So cancel. Next. And this one didn't die. Okay, fine. We're fine. We've got a victory. Moving on with the news, Gamma Searcher has an article here. The former Xbox executive Mike Ybarra has joined Blizzard as the executive vice president and general manager, which is interesting to say the least, but does not really guarantee that he's coming in to turn things around and take control. I don't know why you would hire him as the executive vice president to then promote him and have him replace the person in charge, which is what would really need to happen. It is also worth mentioning that BlizzCon did kind of sneakily get rid of the Q&A session. It's now you're going to write your questions in a box and they're going to pick from the questions what they want to respond to. And there's not really going to be, I think, a on-stage presence at all. So, like, they made it seem like they didn't get rid of Q&A, but they totally got rid of Q&A. Which makes it then BlizzCon mostly just a convention where you'd go to hang out with your friends who are still playing Activision Blizzard games, of which there is a diminishing number of people that fall into that category. So it doesn't really make a lot of sense that you would want to go there if you could avoid it at all, at any way possible. But then I also imagine that there were some people who bought their tickets early and like they might as well go one last time. I would be very surprised if it doesn't feel like darn it. Do I want to mulligan again? I guess I do. No. I wouldn't be surprised if it turns out that there is a very this is the last BlizzCon feeling that happens this year, and people are kind of sad and unenthused and just a little bit morbid, knowing that most people aren't going to want to be there next year. Let's see. First strike, double strike. I guess this is the right move. Let's see. TechRaptor has an article here. Valve reveals the top 20 Steam releases of September. It was Spyro Reignited, Children of Morta, which I hear is good, Final Fantasy VIII Remaster, NBA 2K20, which probably wasn't that good, River City Girls, which I hear is good, Green Hell, I don't recognize, Gears 5, Greedfall, eFootball PES 2020, which probably isn't good, Blasphemous, Session, AI The Somnian Files, which I'm interested in, Nino Kuni Remastered, super interested in that, Crying Suns, I haven't heard of that one, so I'll open that one, Hot Lava, The Surge 2, Noida, isn't that in Early Access, Code Vein, Flotsam, and Cube World. All attack. What does this little red mark mean? Can't attack or block alone. I guess that's what the red mark means. In addition, the top 5 most played by peak concurrent player free-to-play games on Steam were I Love You, Colonel Sanders, a finger-licking good dating simulator, Territory Idol, Planetside Arena, Fireside Idol, and Maelstrom. Let's open up the Colonel Sanders one and see what the reviews are on that. I don't know what Blasphemous is, but I can say I looked at the video for Succubus that came out, and straight up there is a fully shown sex scene in the trailer. Madhead seems like they are going a very awkward route. I don't know how you would else describe it, as that they are trying to make themselves as the new most extreme game developer out there. The problem with that is it doesn't fully work when you look at the quality of actual gameplay that was in their first game, and the controversy around them saying it was gonna not be censored, and then it comes out censored anyways. They blame the publisher, then they stop doing business with their publisher, and then they release a uncensored version, so they get all the profits in a weird way. See, is this an instant? Yeah. Alright, so we can just hold on to that. And yeah, Agony was their first game, and it just didn't play well. It was basically a walking simulator with some terrible puzzles and terrible lighting. Succubus kind of feels almost like a BioShock game if it was made way worse. You're fighting a bunch of demons and a bunch of naked things. Yeah, the sex scene isn't even the worst part in the trailer. There's a point where there's a woman, a pregnant woman, like tied up naked, and you have to punch her in the stomach. This is all taking place in hell multiple times. So she then gives birth to this demon baby that you then crush and drink the blood of. There's like demon babies on the floor you're crushing. It's really just going as edgy as possible. Right, let's go ahead and pump that one up. That's the right one to do. And yeah, there's really just no way that Succubus could be played on YouTube and be family friendly. And I'd still put it on the fall list, and I'll see if there's any kind of real major reception there, but I would have to take any positive reviews with a grain of salt, because it really is going for that kind of postal mentality, where it's really just trying to be as shocking as possible for shock's sake. Now, on the other hand, I am certainly no fan of censorship, and I'm a pretty large fan of adult games and adult nature games, particularly if it's a good quality adult nature game and not just this is a terrible low effort RPG Maker game that we've thrown some sex scenes in because we know it wouldn't sell any other way. But there's a level of extremeness that where it just feels like you're pandering and you're just kind of being silly. And I think Madhead has reached that point. There was a couple other games that came out last year in that similar vein. We kind of had a renaissance of those styles of games, where it was half horror, half lewdness. put that on the field, yeah. Play that early. So you can defend if you want to. Doesn't matter. So here we have on Steam Crying Suns, the game I hadn't heard of. I think this is a space game. And it is on my follow list, but that doesn't mean anything. Yeah, it looks like it's a little bit more than just your standard space game. Okay, it looks more like a real-time strategy space game if I was to guess. $24.99, that's certainly not one I'd be rushing to purchase. But certainly a lot of people are. First strike. Flying. All attack. Attack. Here is Noida, which I thought this was in early access, and it is. But people are already playing it in early access and very happy with it. So good. Hopefully it comes out of early access and is majorly improved, and then at that point I'd be willing to cover it. Let's see. Flying until the end of the turn? Sure. If I could buffer up this one with double strike, that would be useful. Both of these have reach though, so it didn't matter that this automatically gave this flying. It still was able to, they both blocked. Here's the Colonel Sanders dating simulator game. It's very positive. I think we can put that on the wish list. It's a free to game. It is totally streamer bait though. It's just for streamers and goofs and gags. And so I would really only be able to play this if I went into a long series of covering visual novels, and joke visual novels in particular. And like I feel like Dream Daddy Dating Simulator is a much better example of a game that would be under consideration to be played instead of that one. Alright, so who do we want to give flying to? This one. Let's see. Target attacking or blocking creature. So who's gonna block? Because if this guy blocks, I'll use outflank on him and defeat him. +1/+1 till the end of the turn. Alright, well then let's do this. We can't yet. Alright, the order. So that makes it a 7. Oh, he's gonna kill my guy? Alright, what's this other one? Block to blocking creature gets +2/+2. Blasphemous was the platforming Dark Souls game. I forgot about this. It's more of a Castlevania looking game. Yep, I guess people liked it, mostly positive. It is on the wish list, so like some of these newer games that are making it to the wish list though don't feel like they're really in the same category as some of the older games that are on the wish list. So it'll be an interesting experience depending on how much money I really have to spend on games during the next Steam sale, if I really have any. Alright. How do you like that? Stick that on the bottom of your deck. There we go. All attack. And again, just give that flying. And then resolve. And anything you try to block, I guess you'll just block. And a food token's not really going to help them much. Next we have a game on Steam here called Dark Veer, which looks a little bit too old-fashioned and pixely for its own good. Yeah. This looks like a pixely, low-effort horror game. Perhaps it's a mobile game being ported up to PC. $4.49, apparently from the creator of Bedtime Blues and The Child's Sight. 2 games I've never heard of, English only. Well, for what it's showing off, it's not showing off anything interesting. So I'm not going to put this on the fall list. Let's see. Next, all attack. Attack. And put that there. Notice how the animation changed slightly there. It went faster when I had 6 people attacking, or it doing it 6 times than it did doing it 5 times. Right. Okay. So as soon as he decides what he's going to block, I'm going to play this on this, which kills that, and ends your turn. I think it's weird that that's how that works, but whatever. It's weird that when you destroy a creature before your attack is completed, you don't just attack the hero. But Magic does seem pretty consistent in the idea that they want to make you play a little bit longer per game. And I guess I've learned something here. 23 to 27 lands. Interesting. So I'm actually still short on land. Well, I've learned something. I've learned how to build my first deck without it being a complete joke. So on Monday, maybe we'll build some more decks after we do the thing that needs to be done to make sure we get a season reward. Can't block and activate its ability. It doesn't have an ability anyways. So let's just end the turn here. Next we have a game on Steam, Pirates of the Asteroid Belt VR. This doesn't look like it's anything other than an asset flip game. Yeah, just kind of a low quality animation in these 3D models. Yeah. Would require VR, $17.99 discounted, English only, and Russian. Makes me feel like this is probably a low effort Russian game. And do I want to do... no, we don't, so let's just auto pass. do first strike, which I think is the right move. Next, we have a game on Steam called Mendel's Garden, which looks like it's kind of an isometric walk-around puzzle game. They're calling it a roguelike. Looks like it's a farming game to me. Well, I never liked any of these farming games, so I'm not going to put this on the follow list. $3.99 early access English. It doesn't seem like there's much gameplay here for Mendel's Garden. Next. And play this. Do I want to attack? No, I don't think I do. Not without some more mana to play some spells. I might be able to attack next turn. Check out there is the same article. Mike Ybarra is joining Blizzard as the executive VP and GM. I guess Blizzard in this specific case might really mean Blizzard and not even Activision, which Blizzard is a subsidiary of Activision, but it might have its own corporate infrastructure to the point that, yeah, there's this chance that deals 5 to that, yeah. And put 1 on the field. And can't block. And its activated abilities can't be activated, which I still don't think that's a useful card to use. So instead of even thinking that Mike Ybarra is kind of high up in the corporate structure, he might potentially be only high up in the Blizzard corporate structure, which might not matter at all. The thing we would want to see, and the thing that's never going to happen here, is that would be that Blizzard came back and specifically broke away from Activision and said the old Blizzard is back, and thus we're going to do things differently now. Do it like we used to and make great games. Well, I guess I could kill something, do 3 damage to something, but I don't see a reason to why. There's some more creatures I control, so I can do more damage. And then there we can finally use the spell. And then all attack. And end the turn. Just keep auto passing. Come on. Next game we have on Steam is called Hentai Asmodeus. What's interesting about this is this one seems like it's an extremely lewd sex game. It's rated very positively. It's basically just that marble game where you have to do that with anime girls, which probably is an improvement on the marble game, because the marble game by itself is pretty boring. It's $1.19. It's definitely not shying away from anything. It's English and Chinese, with 14 achievements. Why is this allowed on Steam and then some other things not? Is really the question I have to just kind of constantly ask, is because it seems Like, there really is no reason why this would be allowed or should be allowed, and then other things aren't. Other than perhaps Hentai Asmodeus makes all the characters a little bit taller. They're not going with that moe art style. That's almost certainly it. Can't attack or block on it. Well, I got nothing better to do, so we'll do that. And we'll do that. And then we'll attack. So he enchanted my creature. So I guess I could try and kill my creature, but I don't see there's a reason to. And in all honesty, I think this game in particular would probably get demonetized, but not violate any YouTube family friendly guidelines based on what I'm seeing, which maybe I'm not seeing the full truth there. So I'm gonna put it on the follow list, and I'll have to have a think about it. I think the game I'm thinking of is called Zumba, the mobile game, and I'm not sure that there's really a need to show off that game a second time, because I already showed it off once, I'm fairly certain. Let's see. So I kind of would be very happy if once a week you got just one high quality adult game, or maybe it would be more realistic to get it down to 7 high quality adult games. It's the same curation argument, I suppose, every time though. It's like I would be very happy to hear that they curated all their content. I cannot attack that one. Is that because it's not attacking? Yeah. That's why. So this would, if that one blocks, we can kill that one. Alright, so he's gonna block, so we're gonna do this. So the power of small minions here seems to be working pretty well as a strategy. Let's see, what does this one do? First strike until end of turn? Don't even need to do that, so. End turn. Next we have a game on Steam called Space Company Simulator, which is mixed reviewed. Probably because it's just a bunch of text. Probably doesn't play very well as a simulator. Early access, $19.99, English and Polish. Allegedly English full audio. Yeah, this feels like a worse version of Kerbal Space Program starting from scratch, which I don't see a reason why you would want to start from scratch and start to do Kerbal Space Program again. So, I guess the question is, would I want to defend against anything? Nope. Alright, first strike. And first strike again. While we're at it. Sure. Double first strikes. In comparison, here we have a game called Ah Halloween Pie, which is just a asset flip CG model of a girl in her underwear fighting asset flip skeletons and such in kind of a platformer attack game. $4.99 for this game, English only. Yep. This is a great contrast where it's just a low effort game trying to sell on titillation, which is certainly not going to be much. Let's see. Now I guess what would be surprising is if I'm not careful, am I somehow going to die? So, first strike also. The only thing that can stop me would be that. This one, since everybody else decided to attack. So if I just attack some more, I'm perfectly fine. And then I've got two creatures, two humans here to defend. So whatever he thinks he can attack with, which is not going to be 20 damage. Ah, but everything here has flying too. Oh. Oops. Oops. That's a oopsie. He was playing a strategy. Interesting. So what was this card? We can't look now. That sucks. I really wish there was like a screen recorder function. It would be so nice, and you would really blow Hearthstone out of the water if you did have a straight up, we're just gonna record every action, which you know they more than likely are doing anyways for support reasons. So if you could just show every step and animate every step, and let me go back through the history of it, I could probably learn a lot more. That would also be spending more time, certainly playing Hearthstone, Magic the Gathering Arena, but if it needs to be done for educational purposes, it needs to be done. Next we have a game on Steam here called Utopia that looks like it is a kind of low effort city simulator civilization game. Early access, $3.74, English, Russian, and Portuguese Brazil, which makes me suspect heavily it's a low effort Russian game. Let's see. How can we get this on the field? Play that on the field, I guess. Also didn't really set my timer, so I need to check to see how long we've been going. Yeah, we've got about 20 more minutes, I would say, before I need to break up to a third recording. And I was very much low on space. Guess I figured that out though. I don't think that's a big deal. Let's see. Don't want to attack yet. Next we have a game on Steam called Richmond 10, which is mostly negative. Looks like it's a Mario Party clone, but apparently they've done something to really peeve people. Let's see, $13.99, single player, multiplayer, online multiplayer, English and Chinese. It must just be a really bad Chinese game. Online mode keeps disconnecting from the server, can't multiplayer. 4 is way better than this trash. Mario Party 4, I guess is the, or Richmond 4. So, yeah, a terrible server support situation it seems. Is this a knight? Nope. Do we have anything that's a knight? Let's see, go ahead and attack with that one, I guess. Should be fine. Seems like it's getting a little bit harder to get that last victory. But I think we'll figure it out. What in the world? He just tossed a ton of my cards into the graveyard. What does this do? Target player puts the top card of their library into the graveyard. Tap 4 untapped advisors you control to put the top 12 cards in their library into the graveyard. A deck that can have any number of cards named called persistent partitioners. So he's just straight up milling me. Like, I have 5 cards remaining. Alright. What can we do? Flash. And all attacks. Like, he's won. This is a crazy... How did Brawl allow this though? Wasn't the idea that Brawl only allowed you to have one of each card? Is this the trick? I guess. Like 9 cards remaining. Two versus a 2-1. Might as well play this. I probably lost. Feels like these cards should be forced to have such a powerful ability. It feels like they should be forced to defend at the very least. Must defend if they can. Must tap when they defend. So I think if they tap 4 of these, that would be 12 more cards. That leaves me with 0, so I lose at the end of my turn. Yep. Well, that seems like that's a very effective way. That seems like something that should have been banned, clearly. Sorcerer's Spyglasses was the only thing banned here. So are we going to find that everybody at this final tier is playing that same strategy? Because that would really suck. Moving on with news, Gamma Sutra has an article here. Dragon Veil developer Backflip Studios is closing down. This is a Hasbro subsidiary, Hasbro being the parent company of Wizards of the Coast and Magic the Gathering as such. So there's some special importance there, I suppose. Although, in all fairness, the Hasbro games have never been particularly good, so if they did shut down some bad ones and then licensed out their products to better game developers out there, that would be a interesting move, certainly. Guess we'll just keep these cards. Although, frankly, I think I probably should mulligan to make sure I have at least 3 mana lands before I even start the game. 2-1, 2-2. There we go. Major Nelson tweeted out they're giving away the Xbox Elite Wireless Controller Series 2. There's 2 days, 20 hours, and 2 minutes left. It's a $179 controller, so getting one for free does make some sense. Honestly, I probably am going to enter this this contest, and if by some way I actually did win this controller, it put me in a weird position if I was ever actually reviewing a controller, but I don't think I'm ever actually reviewing the controller I'm using, so I think we're fine in the current situation where I could just, if I was playing all the games I ever covered using a controller I won for free, I maybe put that in the description, but whatever. Like, my experience is the Xbox One controller I'm playing with now works perfectly fine. A Elite Wireless Series 2 would probably just allow for some more customization and not really change the gameplay too much. It does also kind of put you in this weird position where main phase, flying till the end of the turn, so that would be nice. We'll just go ahead and attack with one attacker. So yeah, I'm gonna enter that contest just because an extra controller would always be very helpful.
Everything will be fine.
It does put me in a weird position though, where if I'm playing with such like high-level equipment compared to an average player, I might be experiencing the games very differently than what an average player would be experiencing. I don't think that's really the point of the Elite controller, though. I don't think that's ever what they were really going for. Just gonna have to go no attacks. Moving on, Gamma Sutra has an article, Get a Job, the Pokemon Company is hiring a senior software engineer in Bellevue, Washington. I think we've talked about this job. This is another one of these examples where the job just gets posted over and over again. And then TechRaptor has an interesting article. Google announces its first game studio for Stadia in particular in Montreal. Stadia Games and Entertainment Studio will produce exclusive original content across a diverse portfolio of games for all of your favorite genres. That's a very generic statement. It's crazy though they didn't announce this earlier. Like, in the announcement of Stadia they said, oh, not only are we going to be supporting and helping other developers bring their games to our streaming service, but we're also going to have our streaming service effectively act as a competitor and make some games ourselves. That would probably help Stadia a little bit, maybe. It might actually have hurt Stadia too. But the announcement coming out now still would hurt Stadia if now all the other publishers say, forget it, we're not going to put our games on a platform where you're going to compete against us. Inherently, though, you always have that same problem with Google products, is that how long is it going to take before Google just gets bored with those products and shuts down the studio? And as a YouTube streamer, how long before potentially people playing and streaming games on Stadia get promoted and get more views and get an artificial appearance, a bump in views on YouTube because they're using the Google product compared to something else? Not sure how we want to do this, but I think we do need to attack this here, and then this here, and then this here. And then this here. Okay. Let's see. Don't want to do any damage to tap cards. Might want to do some bring back. If not, we'll just summon a character. Give that one first strike. And I played poorly. But we can bring that guy back this way. And can we then bring back something? Nope, this is way more expensive now too. I forgot about that. I spent too much mana. Here's the big news for today. Gamma Switcher has it. Ubisoft severely cuts its 2019-2020 targets in the wake of delays in underperforming games. Also, Ubisoft announced all those cartoons and everything, which showed a lack of focus, certainly towards games. So they've now cut down their expectation from $2.428 billion down to $1.61 billion for the 2019-2020 fiscal year. So effectively almost a whole $1 billion they expect not to get, that they expected they would have gotten before. Target creature that's +2. And then this tapped one will do 5 damage, which isn't that useful. And we've got to attack with this one at the very least. We'll just see. We'll just see what happens here. So there's been a number of recent delays announced. Gods and Monsters, Rainbow Six Quarantine, Watch Dogs Legion have all been delayed out of the fiscal 2019-2020 year and are expected to release in 2020-2021 fiscal year. Let's see. The delays aim to make sure that what happened with Breakpoint is not going to happen again. So yeah, it starts to become questionable. Maybe Viacom or Vivendi, whichever one it was that was going to acquire them, maybe they would have been better off had they just been acquired instead. Because by the looks of it, it doesn't seem like they're in a particularly good position. It really is a weird market research instance where the thing that was putting pressure on Ubisoft was a potential acquisition, and if it weren't for that extra pressure, they wouldn't have, for at least, I would say almost a decade there, made good games. They would have instead rested on their laurels and made bad games, and it seems pretty obvious that that's the case. Which I guess inherently you would take that to mean there's no passion inside of Ubisoft if it's not exerted as some kind of external pressure or force, which probably means Ubisoft is just too big and they should split themselves up considerably. Alright, all attack. All attack there. You see what you're gonna do. I'm gonna lose, of course. And I still don't have enough mana to play this.
Cease your selfish acts.
And then both of these have flying, so they just are gonna attack and defeat me. Next we have a game on Steam called Great Battles of the American Civil War. I don't know if there's too many people alive that play PC games or games at all that want to relive the Civil War. I don't think anybody really did, with the small exception of a few people. $8.99 discounted, English only. Yeah, this looks a little bit better than some other terrible Civil War games I've seen, but no, as a hex grid strategy game, it looks pretty boring. Like, getting defeated is pretty boring. Is there something I could do to change my deck in a way that would improve it? Can't really think of anything. Part of the problem, I think, is maybe I just don't have the cards, but in Brawl, I don't think that should be the issue. So I don't know what's really going on other than I'm running against strategies that are just better than mine and a better collection of cards. Let's see. Next we have a game on Steam here called Dystopian Drift, which looks like it's probably a top-down racing game, maybe with some zombies in it, where you're supposed to run over zombies or something. But it's a little dark screenshot syndrome and doesn't look particularly interesting. 89 cents discounted English, 5 achievements. Play this. Got a lot of spells here. This is probably not a super useful card to play. It's just too difficult. Let's see. You have hexproof. Interesting. Let's see. Can't be blocked by creatures with 3 or greater. Might be a move. if you cast this spell during your main phase, but this one has summoning sickness, right? Yeah, so this is not the right time to attack. Let's see. Next, we have a game on Steam here called Bayala, the game. It's like a fairy, like girls game, for lack of a better term. Doesn't look bad. It does kind of feel like it's just out of nowhere, and we certainly don't see enough of these types of games coming out on Steam. It is probably 1,000 to 1 of games trying to attract young girls, young children who like fairies and girlish things, compared to just low effort visual novels that are adult themed and full of nudity and sex. So I'll put this on the fall list because I'm always looking for something new, something different. This is something new and something different, certainly.
Should all strive for a peaceful resolution.
Like many kids games, might not be really worth it. Bayala is $29.99. It supports English, French, Italian, German, and Spanish. I could look at the publisher and see if there's possibly anything
Our true
else they've
strength
published.
lies in our friendships.
The only other thing this publisher has put out is this kind of like German Angry Birds thing. It's, yeah. And it's the Independence Arts Software GE something. So these might have been games that are being, what would the right word, how would you describe it? This might be games that were funded by a grant, a government grant, and that might explain something. Alright, now, does this character need flying, or does this one just want +2, +2? Right, attack with that one, and attack there, and let's go. The publisher of this game, Bayala, published 2 other games that are mixed reviewed and 1 game that's positive reviewed. So yeah, high chance that it's just a pretty looking game that plays terrible. If it doesn't, then frankly, I'd really like to see some more fairy games. For as many fairy things that were little 3D animations you saw from NVIDIA for at least a decade, there's a surprisingly small amount of games that have fairy creatures or elf creatures, or really go into something that is more of kind of a kid-friendly, token-esque art aesthetic. I'll create 2 more characters. Flying. Let's see. So yeah, let's do that. And then play that. And target creature gets +2/+2 and flying. Sure. And then that would just put my own card at the bottom of the deck, so that would be a dumb move. So we want to attack with this. And that's kind of it. I guess in general, these forum announcements for Magic Arena are just things I'm gonna have to read, and then maybe if there's something interesting, I'll come back and talk about them, because this is a lot of text. This is definitely a lot of text and a lot of descriptions that I'd have to read out, and that would just be a way of wasting time. Yeah, they're talking about the Extra Life My Little Pony cards that they're selling. They're also auctioning out uncut sheets of cards, which, man, Wizards of the Coast really does just squeeze every single dollar out of things, out of the Magic community. Moving on, Gamatsu has a PS4 Switch article. AI the Somnium Files demo is now available in America. This is, I believe, kind of a murder mystery visual novel game with a little bit more polish than normal. Alright, blockers. So how do we want to block? One block could go there, and then I could kill this with that, or I can just let it attack, and probably just better to well, I could also do that, I suppose, but we'll just save that for later. So target blocking or block creature can get a +2/+2. We can go ahead and put this on the bottom of the field. So then, yeah, we can just attack with everything, I think. I think we're perfectly fine. Just start this going. Right, so this here. And that just kills one of my guys. Gamatsu has an article here for PS4, Switch, PC, and Xbox One. Immortal Realms Vampire Wars has been delayed to spring 2020. A PC closed beta is now available. I haven't heard of this game. Is there a trailer we can kind of skip through? See, a game where it's just all vampires fighting vampires, maybe not so work. This looks like a card game with kind of maybe a bit of story around it. Yeah. But it kind of looks like it's just a card game more than anything else. I might be interested in checking it out when it comes out of beta, but almost certainly it's not going to be big enough to justify actually covering playing those games. And see, this one just does damage to a tapped minion, which is not something I'd want to do. Oh, darn it. Did not think that through. Played poorly there. So just bring that back and we'll just play it next turn. Should cost 5, so There we go. So I paid, but I didn't pay dearly for that. Open Critic, I think, has the same story. Ubisoft delays 3 games into fiscal year 2020-21. That's a lot less dire than the way it was phrased in other articles, but fair enough. Can't attack or block. So I could do this to kill my creature, but there's kind of no reason to. Attack. Ooh, actually I need to play this while we're over here. Kill that. Since it's tapped. Oh, I didn't play it in the main phase. Darn it. Yep, I'm definitely making some dumb mistakes. Definitely making some dumb mistakes. Right. Yep. I've run out of cards, so unless there was something I could play out of my graveyard, which there really shouldn't be anything.
I protect those who cannot
I've
protect
lost.
themselves.
Unless he was gonna run out
We
of cards,
thrive
which he
when we
really isn't
support
gonna
one
do. So the only thing I could figure I should do is probably just wait a couple turns and see if we can turn this around. Next we have a game on Steam called Dungeons Again, which seems like it's a platforming game. Looks like it might be polished enough to give it a consideration. It's a little pixel graphic-y. Let's look at this. Looks like it's probably a little repetitive, and it's a roguelike type game that would just randomly generate the... It's $2.54, and actually at that price, even discounted, it prices itself out of my interest. Yeah, English only, 19 achievements. Yeah, I don't think the game can be good enough to be worth my time if you are selling it for $2.54. So I'm not going to bother to put it on the wish list. And this will be our last game, but then there's going to definitely be a whole lot of off-screen playing, like just the rest of the day. It's taken 3 hours to do this brawl, in part because of me just learning what a brawl is, but in part just because it is 4 or 5 games, and each game does just take longer.
True friends always stand by your side.
Right. Is there anything we could do here that would do anything? Not really. Let's see. Next, all attack. Attack. Go ahead and give yourself first strike also. Next we have a game on Steam here called Holoception, which is already mixed. It looks like it's a stickman, asset flip, first-person shooter, multiplayer game of some sort. Early access, $19.99, and requires VR, English full audio. Honestly, this art style might work in something, but probably not an action game. Probably a puzzle game would make more sense. Something slow. But even then, I imagine you're risking a lot.
Prepare for battle!
Choosing that art style. You risk being accused of being lazy, which you probably are. Next we have on Steam The Thrill of the Fight VR Boxing. I believe this game has been on Steam for a while, but it must have just come out of early access. You can see it's rated very positively, and for a long time I've been looking for a boxing game in VR, or a boxing game on Steam in general. So yeah, I'm going to put this on the follow list just in case if I ever do buy a VR headset, I can play this. It says it's English full audio. It's selling for $9.99, which is not particularly a high price. First strike, mentor, all attack. You can see I'm not gonna win here. And I just now can see the beginning of the end, so we're in the next recording. We're gonna get through all the news and all the games, and hopefully get through everything else. This is an interesting skin.
I will lend you my strength.
Creature. I don't know what this is. It's like
Let's
a
put your
dog.
talents to better use.
See, command.
I have let my friends down.
So he wanted to go out with a big bang. 50 damage. Still trying to get that 5th win. And I guess when you get the 5th win, you're just done. I don't think there's anything more. Still also trying to get the 5th win here, which, when did we start getting mastery XP for doing daily quests? That really changes everything, doesn't it? Because you kind of want to constantly get mastery XP. You're only getting a small amount, but yeah, the latest updates seems to have changed some things on me. So potentially more Magic playing on a daily basis. In the theory, not realistically though. I just don't have time to fall into that rabbit hole and try and play this, get 15 wins a day. By the way, I did see if you could play bot matches to get wins. They don't count, just in case you're wondering. That's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description box. And if you want to support me even further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.